This conference will now be recorded.
That makes it so official when she says this conference will now be recorded. This is so exciting though, because this is our first website webinar with the amazing, incredible Phil Pallen. And Phil and I met, it's been years now. Oh my gosh, it's been, I don't even know how many years, at Marky Costello's. And you were teaching a
Mhm.
class on social media that I use the stuff that you talked about to this very day. So we are
Cool.
really privileged to have you. And
Awesome. I'll
so I'm
do a very quick little intro.
Wait 1 second before you start though, because I'm
Hold
getting
on.
feedback, so everybody needs to mute themselves except for Phil and myself. I think it's Jay that just joined maybe, or somebody else. Okay, and I'm getting some feedback. So your mute is just a little green mic, so if everybody could mic, otherwise I'll have to do it. I think I might do it. It might be easier if I do it. Am I getting the feed? Because I'm still getting, are you guys hearing the feedback too? Okay.
Yes.
Um,
Is
yeah,
there a
so let
universal
me,
control for
there
you
is,
to?
that's what I said. I'll just mute everybody.
Perfect.
Okay. I wanted to give everybody a chance to ask some questions. I don't even know where that thing is though. So, oh, here we go. Let me just do that right now. So when they join, nope, that's not me. That's not it. Well, it sounds good for now. So go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, Bill. Yeah. So give us an
Awesome.
introduction.
Okay, sure. So, I'm a brand strategist, and now I live remotely. So I'm in Mexico City at the moment, but I started my career in LA. As maybe some of you have with Marky back in the day, I took her boot camp, and at the time, this is a vintage story, but I was in the running to become Charlie Sheen's social media intern at the peak of his craziness, and I got an internship with Ryan Seacrest. I was actually fired by Ryan Seacrest before I started because I generated too much press connecting him to Charlie Sheen. So that was my warm welcome to Los Angeles. If you want to know the full story, you can Google it. Really, it's on Google. It's on Adweek. It's on all this crazy stuff. So for me, hosts have a special place in my heart because that's how I started. So I took her boot camp and she was like, come into my advanced class, not because you're advanced, but because I want to keep an eye on you and I want you to help me build my brand. She's very smart in that way. Not friendly, but smart. So that was how I started. The first 2 or 3 years, I worked under her and eventually, moved on and like we do. And I've had the privilege of working on a lot of TV shows and with TV hosts. I don't ever work for the productions though. I always work specifically for talent, helping them position, build, and promote their brands. And I keep an eye on the hosts in LA group. And so some of the show's talent from show. My longest client is Lori on Shark Tank, but I've worked on Project Runway, X Factor, So You Think You Can Dance, like RuPaul's. Like there's so many people I've worked with from all of these different shows. So the joy of now being able to do my work remotely means I do it from wherever I feel like being, which is right now self-quarantine in Mexico City. So I said to Shay, there's a lot of really cool, like teachable moments as it relates to your website. So rather than me giving like a webinar or something where you learn stuff, why not actually learn by me being able to share my screen and actually walk through all of your websites? And I'll do it each person in a few minutes. I guess my disclaimer is just because I think something is a good idea doesn't mean that you have to do it, or it doesn't mean like there's a right or wrong. I have a certain methodology to my work, and visual branding is my thing, and branding people is my thing. So last year, I branded the social secretary for President Obama after she left the White House and went to build on her own thing. I mentioned Lori from Shark Tank has been a client of mine for a long time. Who else do I work with? Professionals, hosts, public figures, politicians, also just like everyday people. I branded a food truck in Australia. I branded award-winning directors, all different kinds of people. So for me, the process is exactly the same, regardless of how much exposure or how fancy or how rich you are. It doesn't really make a difference. The process for building your brand is exactly the same. Position your brand, build something to show for it, photography, brand identity, website. And the final stage is promotion. Stick a for sale sign up front of that beautiful house and take it to market. I guess my mission today is to help you revisit the positioning and the build of your brand. And ideally to maximize how much money you get when you take it to market. I know you're up against a lot of competition for hosting jobs. So for me, I'm really focused on how do we craft a memorable first impression the minute you walk into the room. The other thing I'm going to do, actually, well, I launched a course today, so I've been a little out of the loop, but I actually have a 3-page, really good, if I do say so myself, PDF that walks you through those 3 stages. So I'm going to give you just a general link, I think, to sign up to my list. It won't send you the PDF right away, but once I'm off this call, I'll set it up and I'll send you guys my PDF. Where is that? Let me find the link for that, actually. I
To
have
share it
2
right
that I'm
now.
yeah. Why don't I share it right now?
I think you can share it either in the chat
In the chat. Great. I
or,
have,
and I,
let me see. Which one do I want to share? I want to share with you. I think if you just go to philpallen.co/notes, let's see if that works. I have so many automations set up. Let me just figure out. Yeah, this one works. I'm going to type it in the chat, friends.
awesome.
philpallen.co/notes. When you sign up for that, it puts you on my list. It won't send it to you right away, but after we're done this, I'll generate an email that sends it to you guys, the one that I'm talking about, that walks you through in those details. The other link I would share with you is the resources page on my website. I create a ton of free content, a lot of like freebies. If you click ebooks and worksheets, things like brand archetypes, 100 words to describe your brand. So when you're working on your website and your LinkedIn profiles, a brand positioning worksheet, a new business branding checklist, which is really good if you're going through the steps. The checklist would be really good for this group. Personal brand state formula worksheet. All of these are free. All of them are free. So they're all on my site. If any of them you find appealing, jump over there. Otherwise, I'm going to share my screen, Shay, if I figure out how to do that. And I've got the websites that you sent over to me up and ready to rock.
Yep, it's a little, on mine it's an icon with a, that looks like a little screen. I'm not sure what,
great.
If yours will be an icon. Next time I'll do Zoom for you.
Screen. It has it blocked out for me. I can't click that.
Let me make you a presenter. Let me figure out how to do that. Oh,
perfect.
I thought it was doing it now. Let me see if I make you a presenter. Let me find you in the list of people here. So Pallen, make presenter. Now it should show.
Oh yeah, baby. Here we go. Let me just give
We are rocking and rolling. Look at us in 2020. Is that what year it is?
and rolling. Here we go. Open. Okay, I need to grant permission to some wacky weird thing here. Hold on.
That's okay.
Stand by. Here we go.
It said loading, so I know it's loading.
It says, will not be able to record the contents of your screen until you quit. Let me just jump off and right back on really quick, Shay. It'll be like 15 seconds. Stand by.
Oh, no problem. Or maybe I should make you an organizer. Do, 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 do. Still learning some of our modern technology here.
Okay, let me just change my audio settings. So speaker air.
I could just make you an organizer too.
I think, no, this is more on my computer setting. Wait.
Oh, okay.
It showed it there for a second. Try again, Shay, just once more to make me a presenter and we should be set.
Oh yeah, because you left, so that's,
yes, and I just had to give permission.
Are you sure?
To go.
Maybe I want to make, if I make you an organizer, I think then you can do everything, right?
Okay.
Anyone? I don't know. Let's try that. If it doesn't work, we'll make you a presenter instead of an organizer.
This is going to work perfectly.
There
Okay.
we go. This is
Yeah.
so exciting.
I have them.
Woohoo!
I have them in order of how you sent them to me, Shay. So I'm just gonna click. I'm just gonna click open. Yes, I want to proceed. I'm just gonna click open, and we'll just start to go through. So,
Okay, and the first one is Cynthia
yeah.
Garcia. I think Cynthia's on the card. Or are you going to do Jordan first?
No, here. You tell me which order you want.
Oh, I thought you were
Cynthia.
going to go in the way I sent it to you, but that's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
However, it's
Oops.
easiest for you.
Oops. Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna go in the order you sent them.
because I just want to make sure the person who is getting it is on the call. So Cynthia, let me
Perfect.
see who's all on. Go ahead and unmute yourself for a second, Cynthia, so you can have a little feedback here.
Hi, I'm here. I don't know if you
Hi,
can see me,
darling.
but can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you have a little
Hi.
avatar. So yes, welcome.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. Hi, happy to be here. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So this is fun. So I have a little twist that Shay doesn't even know. I replied right away to her email and I said, those websites are perfect, but I intentionally didn't click on any of them. I haven't looked at any of your websites prior to this call. And there's a method to my madness. Casting agents, directors, influencers, gatekeepers are not going to look at your website before they make a split decision. So today we're going to pretend that I'm that role and I'm going to be able to give you feedback having looked at your website for the very first time. I described that I'm in the business of crafting first impressions online primarily. So I actually think I can do a better job by not looking at your website. And as I said to Shay at the beginning of the call, there's going to be little things that like will come up on multiple websites. So I'll spend a few minutes on each site and then we'll have time for Q&A at the end. Sound good?
Sounds perfect.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. So first up, we have Cynthia. Right away, I love the fact that I see that she's a bilingual host, okay? That's incorporated into this, which is saved as a graphic. I like this so far. So we have her reel, which is accessible. I'm a huge fan of putting your hosting reels directly on the homepage of your website. It's probably going to come up soon. Phil, what's your favorite platform to build a website? My favorite is Squarespace, without a doubt. I feel like Squarespace was designed for busy people that don't want to spend all day working on their website, but to be able to hop in really quick, update it, and move on. They've also got a lot of really good portfolio style templates for photographers, hosts, anyone who's building a portfolio online. So far, I really, really like this. This one you built, Cynthia, on GoDaddy. GoDaddy's website
Yeah.
builder is a little bit limited compared to Squarespace. So when you've got downtime and you're ready to evolve this site, I want you to look at Squarespace and give it some thought, because for me, this is version 1 of your website. Here's what I want to see in the next version or the next evolution of your site, which, by the way, all of us are building the next evolution of our site. When you click publish on that website, I already want you conceptualizing and working on the next one. Even if it's a small update to the one you have, evolve, evolve, evolve. Branding, you as a person, you evolve in real life. You book a job, you solidify your brand. It could be through experiences where you realize, wow, I really should be focusing on this in terms of my brand. All of that evolution that happens in real life, I need it to happen online, okay? The best online brands recreate the in-person experience. Whatever makes you great in real life, we need to recreate that online. So as we look here with Cynthia, it's very obvious to me that Cynthia is a host, but I want the next version of your website to have a blog. I want to read your blog and I want to like learn about your opinion on whatever your expertise is, whatever your brand is. I want your brand to be more than just bilingual TV host. I want you to start to incorporate your perspective, your opinion into how you present yourself online, okay? It could be connected to the jobs that you've booked recently, the types of work that you're doing. As much as I love a hosting reel and it's necessary, you have to have a hosting reel. I also I want to see you on Instagram Live or Facebook Live on an ongoing way, talking about things that are related to whatever your expertise is. Cynthia, does that make sense so far?
Yes, it does.
Cool. I think it's awesome that you are also bilingual. Hello, I'm from Mexico right now, by the way. So I wish I was bilingual. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that in itself. So there's one more tip I'm going to give you, Cynthia. So the next evolution, I want to see more than just your face and your name. I want a perspective. You are the fill in the blank. Like, what is it about you that makes you different than every other bilingual TV host? Because that's just too generic for how cool you are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that you can look at is creating a bilingual website, not just relying on Google Translate, but Squarespace. If you Google it, there's a way that you can have a bilingual website. Squarespace, bilingual website. Literally Googling this. And here, no, create a multilingual site in Squarespace. Now, in order to pull this off with how they describe it, it's really pretty basic, bare bones, but how you set up the structure, this might like look a little overwhelming to start, but it's really not once you get your feet wet. This is a really smart idea. I am obsessed with figuring out for you guys, how do we not tell people? I don't want to tell people that you're a bilingual TV host. I want you to show it. I want it to be obvious that that's what you do. So rather than telling us that you're a bilingual host, show us that you're a bilingual host. Does that make sense?
And I think,
Yes.
Cynthia, don't you have two reels? Her English reel and her bilingual. Didn't we talk
Yep.
about putting that on there?
Yeah, they're both on there. That first one
Yeah.
is
They're
the
both on
English
there.
one. The one below it is the Spanish one. Mm-hmm.
Which is great. Yeah, see, and I'm giving you ideas for that next iteration of your site. I
Mm-hmm.
think this site's going to do the trick for you. It's really simple and straightforward, but I already want you, like this down here is so hidden. I need this right up, probably like the text over here somewhere, or even like below the logo. Like, tell me who you are and why I should care.
Okay.
Sound
Great.
So bring the bio up first.
Yeah, I need context for who you are. I don't want to just make a decision based on your face. You
Right.
know, I want like some context
Yeah.
for exactly who you are and what you bring to the table. And I want a blog or some area where there's ongoing new content that's going to keep me coming back to your website. Good?
Got it. Yes. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. That was a great one to start with because I know, hold on, I'm going to put some lip balm on. Good name.
Yeah.
First of
Okay.
all, great name.
Philip, the best
Okay,
name.
Cynthia, we'll have you mute yourself and head on to Philip.
Yeah, that's a great
Okay.
name. And
Okay.
I'm already
Thank you.
noticing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're so welcome, Cynthia. So, Philip, it's weird to say my name out loud, my full name. I feel like I'm getting myself in trouble. You have built this on Squarespace, correct?
Yes.
Good choice. I can already tell by the layout of the top navigation that it's Squarespace. I love, love, love the colors. Good choice of colors. It makes your photos look great. I love that you have a persistent navigation at the top, which means you anchor your navigation at the top so it doesn't disappear. This is a great idea to keep the most important links that you have quickly accessible for people, right? To see what you want them to see. Get rid of this at the bottom. You don't need unless Squarespace is sponsoring you, get this out of there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, get it out of there. You don't have to have it there. They want you to keep it there, but just go into edit mode on your footer. And I think I actually love how clean and simple this site is, but go ahead and repeat your navigation links in the bottom so that it's just one more opportunity for people to go, oh. The other thing I want you to do, Philip, is because you're focusing on Instagram as your main social media platform, Squarespace has a really cool plugin that allows you to embed your Instagram feed directly on your website, and it will update real time.
Got it.
Super cool. So I actually think with all this dead space in the footer, I kind of think questions say hi could come over here. Can you guys see my mouse or no? Can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. So the questions say hi could come over here, and let's just put your Instagram feed, boom, right there to take up that great little spot. Because then we're gonna go, you know, these people that are looking at you are nosy, right? So yes, we care about your like resume, but actually we also care about like what you were doing last weekend and how your Instagram looks and how many followers you have and how good is your engagement and how often are you posting. People care about this stuff because when someone's booking you for television in 2020 and beyond, you're doing a double job. Yes, you're going to host the show, but guess what? A big part of why you get the job is because selfishly, you bring an audience to the table and that sweetens the deal, right? For you to book a hosting job without having, you know, at least a handful of social media followers is pretty rare in 2020. It's not impossible. Yes, you can be booked solely on your talent, but if you want an increased chance of being booked, then also know how to market yourself, know how to engage an audience, because honestly, like it's archaic to think that like you're just going to get a job based on reading a prompter. Like you're going to get a job based on how well you engage an audience offline and online. It's all proof in the pudding, you know? So I would say this is a great pick. I might even try, oh, interesting. It's your reel. Now, I didn't
Yeah.
know it was your reel. So
Okay.
here's what I need you to do. On your custom thumbnail that you've set on Squarespace, I
Yeah.
need you to go to the website, The Noun Project, which is my favorite destination to download free icons. We're going to Google the word play. I should have told you to fasten your seatbelt. I move fast and I'm full of tricks and apps.
He is.
So I'm going to need you to go download a play button. And
Sure.
then in a tool like Canva, I want you to put this play button over top because I didn't see that it was actually a video. And okay, see, it's there. You know why it's not showing? Because it's so small.
Oh, it's white.
I
Yeah.
didn't
And it's
see
white
it,
too.
and it's
Yeah.
white, damn it. So why don't you, maybe you don't even need a play button because Squarespace adds one, but I'm trying to think of what you could do. Part of me thinks that actually you shouldn't set a custom thumbnail. I don't know. I'll leave it with you because you've already put this really jazzy website together. I'm obsessed with the colors.
Oh, thanks.
Do something that makes sure people don't miss that, because I
What
thought
if
it
he
was just a
says
picture.
real right above it or below it, even though it's a word?
Click to watch
Click
my
for the,
reel. You could write that. You could also add a little circle in the middle of that image, and then the play button will show up. You could add your little pink circle, literally
Sure.
just a circle right there in the image, and the play button will show over top.
So we lost you for a second, Phil. Okay, you're back.
Oh, what about now? What about now? Are we good?
No, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Mexican internet. What can I say? Tacos are great. Internet's not. So,
and we don't want to miss a single word you say.
I know. So maybe just like a little background color or something so we see
Sure.
that. And then, but I really like it. I really like how everything is looking. It looks, I don't know, the colors look really good. Maybe give us a little description of what these videos are, because I'm not going to sit here and look at all of them. So tell me what I'm going to get in each one. If there's one video that you want to have more attention, make it bigger than the others. And you get it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So and then articles. I like this. I actually love blogs that don't have thumbnail images because it enables you to just write quicker. And then the resource I shared on this one is like the Noun Project. I highly recommend. When you download an icon from this website, if you're not a paid member, then you're expected to give attribution to the designer who made the icon. Pro tip, save 2 iced lattes in the month and instead subscribe to the Noun Project for $10 for 1 month and go download all the icons you need in a month. And then you don't have to attribute the author in that.
Awesome.
Okay. Great site though. It's looking really awesome. I think with a few little updates, you know, it's my job to give you a few ideas. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I
These
appreciate
are great
that.
so
Thank
far. You're super welcome. So Lauren is next.
Yes, Lauren Kling is our webmaster genius himself. So
Awesome. Make sure, guys, if we're not connected on Instagram, go say hello. I post a lot of branding stuff on Instagram, and all of my stuff is specific to personal branding. So, and hosts is how I started. Branding host was how I started my career. So a lot of the stuff that I share is relevant for you guys. Okay, I love how this looks so far. This is really dynamic. I love this roller or this roll down kind of banner vibe. I think it looks really cool. Great. So you have a podcast. That's the first thing that grabbed my attention. I like that it's just like a really simple, clean design. Great. Great. I don't know why I'm scrolling up backwards. I don't know why I'm, okay, got it. So this is a one-page site with anchor links. Is that right?
Yes.
Great. So that's actually smart because it increases the chances that people are going to see everything that you've posted. I am the biggest fan in the world of one-page websites. And after this, while we transition between you and the next guest, I'll show you one that I love. The reason why a one-page site is good is it's a little less scary to create yourself. Also, the fewer number of pages you have, the more likely your viewer or your user is going to see everything that you've worked really hard to create. When someone has 50 pages on their website, I liken that to you actually giving up control to the user to decide what they're going to click on. So I'm the biggest fan of the world of having either one page or the fewest number of pages possible on your website to increase the likelihood that your user is going to see everything that you've worked hard for them to see. Okay, so even, you know, even for example, with Philip, I didn't click all of the pages because I was like, oh, got to move on to the next one so I don't run out of time. In this one, I've actually already seen the content of your entire website. The downside of having a one-page site is that it's limiting. You can't, it's hard to have a blog. It's hard to like take people off that one-page site. So it's not for everyone. I could never have a one-page site because of all the things that I do. But I think for this, for Lauren, I think it works perfectly. Show us the content that you want us to see. We hop on there, we quickly engage, done. You know, I'm going to give you one more example of a one-page site. Where am I? Desiree Rogers. I can't remember what the actual domain is, but I know the Squarespace domain. It's DesireeRogers.squarespace.com. Let's let that load for a second, and I'm going to go to the chat, the chatty poo, and paste it in there. Okay, let's let that load for a second, and then my Wi-Fi is super slow, and I'm also sharing and broadcasting and living my best life with all of you guys. Stuck indoors. Jordan, we're getting you loaded up. So I designed this one-page site for Desiree Rogers, who worked for President Obama, and then she has launched a publishing company and makeup and all this stuff. So this is an example. I built this on Squarespace. This is an example of a one-page website where these are anchor links, just like Lauren's site. So I can click this and it takes me to the specific page on the website. Tell us who you are, why people should care. If you've got some press, great, feature it. My purpose. So I like, I don't know, I like more than just your about. It's like, what's your perspective? What's your purpose? What drives you, you know, to do what you do? Why are you so passionate about what you do? Not every photo needs to be you. Sometimes we can have some nice environment photos. Whenever I'm doing a photo shoot with a client, I always make sure that I have like a few additional photos that are not just the client's face everywhere. This is obviously pretty custom, but I did a timeline for her history. So White House 2009, publishing company, blah, blah, blah. She's a speaker. So here we offer 4 speaking topics that we can offer to conferences and then a way to get in touch with her. Just like that.
Philip?
So, yeah.
It's Lauren. Can I ask you a question about this site that you made?
Sure.
I noticed that there were a lot of I statements instead of she is. Do you prefer for host sites for personalities to be I statements, first persons?
So this is one of those things where there isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer, but I am pretty passionate about speaking in first person, especially on your website, because I know that you made it. Like, you can't trick me. I know you made your own website. So no, and that's like the funny answer to the question. But for me, the real answer is like, online, and people, there's a lot of people who don't agree with me on this, so don't say just because I did it, like just because I said that means you need to change. If you're a lawyer and there's formality around what you do, then stay in third person. But otherwise, I think first person is perfect, because online, all we're trying to do is recreate the in-person experience. You wouldn't talk about yourself in third person when I'm sitting with you face to face and we're having coffee. That would be weird. So for me, I love first person online, particularly in more casual applications. Like, this is who I am, this is what drives me. I'm really passionate about this. I just feel like third person adds a bit more distance. So I'd be curious to know, like, I wonder what Barbara Barna Abel would say about that. Usually she and I agree on everything because we're besties, but I'd be curious to get her perspective on that as well. But I'm a big fan of first person.
Thank you.
You're so
That's
welcome.
good.
Great
Yeah, we
site.
get that question quite a bit, so that's a good question.
And Shay, my
Lauren.
answer isn't necessarily the right answer, but you heard my rationale, so I think
And
you're fine to go
I
either
agree
way.
with you. That's the advice I give as well.
Right.
Is if you're a speaker where they're just lifting your bio straight off your website and that, then you're going to obviously want to do third person. So, if it's going to be published somewhere, but I think that there has to really be a compelling reason these days to use third person, because it feels so formal.
I agree. Okay, so in the interest of time, shall we move on to Jordan?
Yep. Yes.
Who's currently mesmerizing me with these amazing slider photos.
Oh, thank you.
This site looks really good. So what you do is, first you serve us these great, big, beautiful images, which I love. They're really colorful. They're really dynamic. It is so hard to get good quality photos of you guys on set working, and then to try and like put them together and make them match visual tones and all of that is just a freaking nightmare. So you've done a really good job of that, grabbing a lot of different photos from a lot of different environments, taken by different people with different cameras, and made them live pretty well together. For example, this one, right, is pretty pixelated, but it still looks really good. That's what you have to work with. So I like it so far. I really like it. I would say if you were going to the next evolution of your site, maybe when you do your next photo shoot, maybe you do a shoot that is specifically for your website as well. So I love these environment photos, but I almost think we could mix in some of you like showcasing your brand. So as I've sat and kind of looked through this reel a few times, because I'm like, wow, she's like interviewing some pretty famous people. I still don't know yet anything about you. I'm looking to learn about why you, what's your stance, what's your brand. I know it sounds so cliche, and to her credit, Marky's been like, super big on this whole brand thing, which is why she hired me originally. Right? Hello. And it's still important. So I don't want you to think, all of you, as you think about your brand, it's not just like, oh, she's in automotive, so we're only going to hire her for automotive shows. It doesn't work that way at all. Your brand is really an excuse to explore your perspective, your opinion on topics, so that we can see almost like a case study of how you're able to communicate in video, in written form, consistency, right? Don't worry about your brand, quote unquote, limiting you, right? For us, it's more like proof of concept, So I'm curious to see, like, what is it about you? You've started to arrive at that. That last image had like a little entertainment, lifestyle, and laughter. That's too small. If that's kind of if that's the through line of you, then I want that like bigger somewhere over here. Maybe it's like on top of every image or something that tells me a bit more about you. Okay.
Okay.
So I like here as I'm scrolling, but I actually would take this section. I think I would double the font size and I'd split it up into two. People are not going to read how small this is, and they're not going to read all of this. People have such a short attention span online. I would literally just limit it to a paragraph or two and then give us more visuals and then another paragraph or two. So maybe, Jordan, maybe you can take some of this and move it up maybe right here, in between here, or maybe there's a way to overlay it slightly over the images, left justified, for example, with a white background. I'm not sure.
Okay.
just to give you a few ideas, I want people to get you, like I want them to understand who you are, why they should care. The images are telling me that you're a legit TV host, but I still don't know anything about you, so that's what I want to learn, okay?
Okay.
But the photo gallery is awesome. I see you doing all kinds of cool, interesting things. The footer is looking really good. Recent coverage, great. I mean, it looks really good. I don't really have anything else to say.
Thank
You
you. I
know?
do have one
I think it
question,
looks
if that's
really
is
good.
that okay?
Sure. Yeah, of
So
course.
at the footer, I have under recent coverage, it links back to one of our news websites, and
Okay.
I write all the content for my brand there. Is that something good that I should have on
Yeah.
there or no?
Yeah, I would even feature that more. The fact that your writing is featured somewhere else, I would find a way to even highlight that further.
Okay.
Because I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. I mean, sure, it would be nice if you also had a blog on your site. Maybe that's the next evolution. Maybe you add blog and you're able to hyperlink. I don't know, maybe you're able to like give like a little paragraph of what it's about and then link through to the full article. That's one way of doing it.
Okay.
I would highlight that more because it shows that you're creating content in an ongoing way. Really
Okay.
cool.
Great.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
You're so
I should have
welcome.
probably picked sites that needed a little bit more work. I know all of these were really good. That's why they caught my attention.
No, it's great. It's great. Like, and I love that we have such a nice variety. I'm going to open up a few and then I'll be able to move a little bit quicker just to respect all of your time. I'm just going to open them all up in little windows here. Okay. So let's go to Real Talker, which is this Jim?
Yep, that's mine. You guys hear me?
Jim, put your
Yeah.
name somewhere because I forgot which website I clicked on.
So this is more of my outlet, not like my personal site. This is the site
Makes sense.
that I do all my work for. So it's branded by me, but it's kind of more national and international themed.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I still think that if you're putting all this work into a brand and the logo of the brand is you, an avatar, I still think your name should be either the subtitle, even just for the purpose of the website, or maybe write it off to the side in like a kind of caricature style. I need your name somewhere because you are, even with this content, you're building your personal brand. And even if this isn't your personal brand site, you're in charge of this. If I see your photo right away, I'm like, who's that guy? And I want to know. So basically what I'm saying to you is for all the effort you're putting into this kind of branded entity, I want you to also like build your own brand equity, your name, your kind of your proof of concept, even if it's subtle.
No question. I agree.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, but you don't have to do it in a way that's too distracting. But this, yeah, I mean, this is great. This should be good for you for SEO because you're blogging about like entertainment related things. I would say to you, my thing would be for all the effort that goes into this, I need you to be a bit more selfish and inject more of you into this. Even if people aren't asking for it, I'm asking for it so that when a buyer lands on this and goes, wow, he really knows what's happening in Hollywood. I need people to know that that's you. And this isn't just a bunch of like ghost writers writing, for example. You know, I need more Jim in this.
I think it's more on the links, but I get it on the top of the page besides the logo. I could definitely add my name and yeah.
I also think like there's a website I designed recently for a food blogger, and I love, obviously there's like lots of articles here beyond just like her face everywhere. I love at the bottom of her site where, let me see if we can scroll down if it loads. So, okay, so between the website content and the footer, I just have a great big photo of her like doing her thing so that at the end of the day, all of this content, even if it's guest blogged or someone else wrote it, it still comes back to the boss, the owner, the brand, her. I kind of want I want more of you in this website. If you're also a TV host and building your own brand equity, I want more of you in this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
because like you're putting so much work into building your brand equity in terms of like all of this stuff. I just like need a bit more you so that you benefit from it. And people go, wow, he's the guy, he's the real talker, you know? Great. Let me look around. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, I kind of have a blog. It's all kind of mixed in. It's with the tabs. I don't really like I don't have the footer and everything in the bottom because it's a WordPress website. So it just keeps on scrolling. I guess for this sort of content, it's the best thing WordPress kind of has, which is limiting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to, a few of these posts, I infuse my pictures in there too. A lot of them are written too also at times.
I think to add like, do you have an about page on here somewhere that tells us just about you and your process and all of that, like what you do?
It should be, yeah. Actually, it's at every article. When you click on an article, there's an about section right below the article in each one of them.
Got it.
So if you go there and it kind of goes up, there's an interview, you go to the bottom, and then usually an about me section at the bottom.
Oh yeah, got it. So yeah. I would take this and expand on it on a dedicated about page, maybe with your hosting reel. And I'll just be like a little selfish. Have a page that's all about you so that you can link people to that and we can learn more about you beyond just this one little paragraph.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But otherwise, yeah, I mean, just to inject more of you into this, I think is going to help you. But that looks great.
Thank you.
Great work, team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Phil, on the question on the blog, just we were talking about third person or first person on most of the websites, and Barbara uses I on her own personal stuff. So that's just a side note.
I think that she agrees with me. She and I are like on the same page about everything. So, and I really trust her. So I am a big fan of I. Yeah, I think so. Especially now when we're all like cooped up in our houses and we're like trying to like create these connections online since we can't create them in person. We need every help we can get to make it feel like we're together in real life, whether it's a Go meeting call, whether it's Zoom, whether it's Skype, whether it's like FaceTime, right? Any help we can get to make it feel like we're there in person, I think will always help you.
Okay, great.
Sonali.
Hi.
Hi. Great. Okay, tell me about you.
So I have many different hats. I'm a dancer, model, host, and actress. I specifically sent Shay this link, my host, under the host tab of my website. But as you see, I have all these other tabs too, including my general bio, all my reels, press footage I have, and reviews other people have said, stuff other people have said about me. So
Great. So what I would do here is, well, let me just look around a little bit first. So this photo of you with the pink background and this great shot of you, I wish it was bigger. Actually, part of me wishes it was this banner image right here. This like black with that pink would be really cool. I love that picture of you and I feel like it's too small. I'd find a way to get that picture bigger, and hopefully when you did that photo shoot, if you were able to get a landscape photo, that would hugely help you. If not, for your next photo shoot, make sure when you guys go and shoot your headshots, ask the photographer for landscape. They're going to say, well, your headshot's going to be portrait. And you're going to say, well, Phil told me I need landscape photos because that's what works the best online. And let me give you an example. On my homepage of my website, I intentionally found a photo of me, landscape, but also with a light colored background where text would show up against it. The thing online too is like, as you adjust the size of your browser, it bounces around a little bit because it's responsive. So as you get your photos, I want this image of you with the mirror in the background. I can't really see that well. And it's all kind of like a bit dark and spooky. I would actually advise hosts, I would advise against using black as your main color on your website because it comes across very harshly on a computer screen. It feels a bit like Halloween. When I can see from that photo of you, you're like a little ray of sunshine, that beautiful like tone and the pink background. I want more of that. I want you to hit me with more of that and less of like the black, because black feels a little too like Halloween-y. Does that make sense?
It does, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I want this like warmth and this like brightness. So you have lots of videos here. I might think about moving all these videos to a media page and having one call to action. If you want me, because I'm not going to watch all these, if you want me to watch one video, which video is it going to be? And that I want you to make that decision for me.
My host reel way at the top.
Yeah, great. Is it this one?
Right.
This one, right?
Oh, no, the one on top of that, the one with the pink photo.
Got it.
My
So
it says host.
yeah, I want all these video clips either kind of put down here in a dedicated block, because right now your host reel is actually smaller than your video clips. I want this mama host reel. I want this thing big. I want it like, I don't want to see Shannon O'Dowd. I know she's nice, but I don't want to see her face right now. I want to see yours. I like want you, you know, there's almost too much going on here. So I think now
I can't hear you.
Oh, what about now?
I can hear
What
you,
about
Phil.
now? Okay, sorry.
Finale, it must have been your connection.
Yeah, it could be Mexico. So
Did we lose him?
No,
what about now?
Sonali, it must be your connection because I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me now?
I can,
there.
Phil.
Can you repeat that,
Sonali,
please, Phil? I can hear you now. I lost you for a second there. I don't know why.
Okay. I'll keep going. If it cuts out, I think we've got the recording as well, right, Shay?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
so I would just simplify the visual here. What we call this is we call this above the fold, like in print and in web. So basically, the idea of above the fold is we want to hit them with something before they have to scroll to see. So you're really close here. I like this description. I think the training bit, I don't even need to see this because right away I'm like, is she a teacher as well? Does she work with Shannon? I don't know what that's about. For me, I want this host reel like to take up all this space. That's what I want. And I want it to be bigger than the others. Does all of that make sense?
Yes, it does, huh? Okay.
And that beautiful pink background, I would let that be your brand color with some like maybe some other accent tones instead of the burgundy. I think is going to be better for you.
I see. Okay.
Great.
And then
okay,
is
awesome.
the gold okay? Is the gold
yeah, the gold
okay?
is fine.
Because my name means golden, so I like that.
Great. Keep the gold then. If it has a meaning, keep the gold. And I would swap out the burgundy, which is a bit too like reserved. It's a bit too like lawyery. And I want like hosty, you know?
I see. Okay. Understood.
So there you go. Okay, I'm watching the time. A few ideas for you, Sonali. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, we have Yasmin next.
Hi, hello.
Hi, Yasmin. Are you like from America's Next Top Model, or how do you? I mean, this is a vibe I get right away. Are you a model? What are you? Who are you?
I had one of the best photographers, so I feel very fortunate. No, she's a really good friend. Thank you. That was very sweet, and thank you so much for giving up your time and going through all of our websites. All the notes so far have been so useful. It's given me so many different ideas now. So thank you.
You're welcome. This is fun for me. I enjoy doing this. So and I hope it's useful for you guys. I'm glad it is. So right away, we hit with this beautiful image, very kind of model-esque hosty commercially. Love it. I would say maybe I'm going to challenge you to give us more than this because there's so many people in LA that are on-air host, reporter, producer. It doesn't tell me anything about you.
Right.
I want your perspective. I'm going to go over and click your about page, and I'm going to find a sentence that excites me about how you describe yourself. Like, how would you, Yasmin, how would you describe, like, what is your thing? And don't overthink your answer. Just answer it. Like, what's your thing? What makes you different than other hosts?
Jeez. I could go down that whole trilingual route. I'm also focused on gender mainstreaming as a subject and yoga. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm very curious about a variety of things. So I guess your question to me, as in my answer to you, is that I need to work on a one-liner to find that thing that makes me stand out.
Yes. I want to challenge you to figure out your brand, because your brand is, I think no one's brand is TV host. I think that's the literal functioning or the job title that you have. I want a stance. I want an opinion, right? Obviously, I sell personal branding, but for me, like, you know, for me, personal branding is branding isn't just about looking good online. For me, branding is a powerful business tool that we use. So that is literally how I describe my work, and I put it here. Not that I'm like the beaming example of perfection, but like I
No.
need a stance. I need a position. I need to know what makes you tick. I need to know what you bring to the table that's different than everyone else in such a competitive market. So, because I love the picture. I love the pink accents. I think it's really super classy. I keep scrolling down wanting more. I wonder if you could actually, Yasmin, highlight some of the features on your website. Give me a little tease. Rather than forcing me to click on these pages, what if I don't want to, because I have slow Wi-Fi, what if I don't want to wait for all these pages to load? I kind of want to be able to scroll on this homepage and to learn a bit more about you. Maybe tell
Yeah,
me about you in 3 sentences. Maybe give me the link to your hosting reel so that it doesn't require that I have to click over to it. The minute,
absolutely.
you guys, the minute you require someone else to click, you lose more than half of the prospects. The minute you require someone to go somewhere else beyond where you hit them, you lose the majority of those people. So keep that in mind. I keep like scrolling down going, I want more. I want to learn about Yasmin. Then give me a little preview of the media and then a button, click here to learn more. And get your contact form on the bottom of your homepage, let's talk. I'm so happy you're here. Let's continue the conversation, blah, blah, blah. I'd build out your homepage and come up with
Okay.
that little stance, that one-liner. That's your homework.
Absolutely. No, after seeing everybody's, especially just scrolling down, I think that makes way more sense, having just as fewest pages as possible. So I
Yes.
appreciate that. Yes.
You are
It's
so
inspired me
welcome.
so much. Thank you.
Yay! Oh, you're so
Yeah.
welcome. It's so my pleasure. Listen, I love to do this, but the thing that makes me love it is when people do what I tell them to do. So like, right, I can sit here all day and tell you what to do and talk to an audience and say, here are some good ideas, go and do it. But only a fraction of the people will actually execute it. I'm not asking you to do it overnight, but I'm giving you some ideas to evolve your brands to hit closer to those business goals. So as you update your sites, feel free to share this with me on Instagram. Email is not great for me. I have a really short attention span, but Instagram is great. Yeah,
Oh, great.
Instagram is
Perfect.
great. Yeah, that's my feedback for you. That gives you some things to work on. And then there's some questions here in the chat from Vanessa and from Sonali. They're asking about 2 platforms. One is Showit and one is Wix. So obviously in 2020, build your own website platforms are hugely popular and they make sense for a lot of people because you're doing the work. My favorite is Squarespace in terms of layout, in terms of not having to update your website, in terms of the functionality. I'm just such a fan of this platform. I think honestly, there are so few challenges with the program that I feel like I think Wix is okay. Wix is a close second. I'm not as familiar with Showit, but keep in mind, all of these build your own website sites are all kind of the same. They all do the same thing, but my goal is always to make a website that looks like you didn't make it yourself. To be honest, that's how I started my career, helping hosts and people build their websites. And then if I got hired to build it, I was like, how do I make this look like a website that they didn't build themselves, right? So for me, Squarespace, I love in terms of path to least resistance, I'm a huge fan of it, but Wix will do the job. And I know lots of people use Wix, just pay to have the like built by Wix removed from the footer. I hate how they add that. And then Showit, I know, is pretty similar to Squarespace. I'm just not as familiar with it because I just kind of, once I find something I like, I stick with it. Okay, we're going to Candace next.
Hi.
Hi, how
Hi,
you
Candace.
doing?
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
This is a really, really beautiful picture. It's
Thank
really,
you.
really stunning. And even though your name kind of covers your face at one point, I don't even care. I think it's just awesome. And let's see here. I love that you added your name in a handwritten font. I think it's really cool. Hey, Candace, this is really specific, but increase the kerning of this font so that your handwriting doesn't cover the words down here.
Oh, yes,
Just
yes. Spread out the
in the
spacing.
code or whatever. Exactly. Just add a bit more paragraph or line, not kerning, but line spacing.
Line spacing.
Yep. It's looking awesome. What else
Thank
here?
you. And this is with Wix, actually.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I know a lot of people that love Wix. Wix and Squarespace are very similar. So, you know, the thing is to just kind of decide and just rock with it. Contact me. So this is interesting. I feel like I would put here, because this, for them to contact you, this is actually to subscribe to a newsletter. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So what I would do, instead of saying contact me, it might be misleading. I don't want an agent to find you and go, oh, I want to hire her for my show, and accidentally subscribe to your newsletter instead of send you an email. So put here, you know, stay up to date with my world or something like that. And then that way they know. And then put another link down here, you know, want to get in touch, you know, click here or send me an email make it super clear for how people can get in touch with you.
Perfect.
That's just like one quick little thing that you probably don't even think about until someone says it out loud and you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Great. So this is a one-page site. So awesome. So this means I can consume everything I need to consume. I'm definitely going to watch your reel because I'm not inundated with 5 million other things that you're asking me to do. It's really pretty clear. And then your IMDb. So this is interesting. I'm actually thinking, I'm wondering about this. I wonder if just removing one or two of these will make this easier to digest. There's a lot of options up there for a one-page site. So, or can I give you a little pro tip? When in the past, when I've combined, now we're getting very specific. This is a good sign that what you've built is great. When I've built a navigation that combines anchor links, which means it takes me to a specific place on the page I'm already on, or it combines external links. What I do is I open up the emoji keyboard. Can you see the emoji keyboard on my screen or no?
I cannot, but I'm sure we'll
not right now.
Yeah, the way that you open the emoji screen on your computer is on a Mac, it's Control, Command, Spacebar. So that you don't have to like copy them over from your phone or something like that. Emoji keyboard. Let me just type that.
Perfect.
Okay. So what I do is I open the emoji keyboard and I look for an arrow. And to show that that link is taking us off your website, I actually put in an arrow beside the letters IMDb. And then I would just put like a little arrow, just like that. You see in the subject line, I'm just putting it there so you can see it.
Yes.
And I would probably move it like as the last link so we know that that takes us off your website. We don't want people to leave your website. So I'm assuming that all of these links are here on your website. So I would, that's one little trick that I've done in navigation, just put a little arrow so we know it's removing us from the site.
Okay, perfect. And then I did have one question because obviously we're talking blog and whatnot.
Yeah.
Would I add that to the top bar and have that as a separate page since we are keeping with the fluidity of the one pager?
Yes. The trickiest thing with a one-page website is a blog because a blog can't really be on a one page. So I would just, as we talked about, I would just have your blog like be up here and then it can open up a new window, or it can actually, it doesn't have to open up a new window. It can just bring us to a new page that's specific to your blog. I think that's totally fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but the focus is obviously like the commercial stuff, obviously. So great. No, it looks really good. And I love the handwritten logo font. Really super cool.
Thank you.
Guys, you don't have to worry about like a super intricate, crazy, detailed logo unless you're like really rich and then you can hire me to do your branding. Yay! Otherwise, just put your name in a great font, in a great like in great typography, you know,
Mhm.
and then focus on building your visual brand with your photography. I am like really big about photography. I always have been. I think photography is the most important thing for your branding. The most important thing. It gives us context for who you are, why we should care. It communicates so much about your brand. On my blog and in a lot of the resources and stuff that I send out, I talk a lot about photography. Super important. Okay, so now we have Sharik. Is that how I pronounce your name, Sharik?
Yes. Hi.
Yay, I got it right, Sharik, because I saw the accent on the I, and I've been learning
Yes. Thank
Spanish.
you.
So you're welcome. So, okay, I love this picture of you. Is really cool on the I love that turquoise color. I might even like Photoshop that turquoise color again behind this photo, although you don't have to. I'm kind of looking for that like visual consistency. So there's a lot of different colors and qualities here. Sharik, when you do your headshots or your next shoot, I would actually keep some kind of theme in your photography. And that's gonna just kind of almost like strengthen that product quality of your brand. So when you flip through a product catalog, the photos are not all from different places and different qualities. Usually they're all from one photo shoot that's like that has that visual theme. That's how I want your brand to evolve for the next stage. But at the same time, these are champagne problems. So I'm just giving you something to work on. I call it champagne problems because I don't like the saying first world problems because I spend most of my time outside of the quote unquote first world and it sounds negative. So I've changed my saying to champagne problems.
I
These are
like
all
that.
good problems to have, right? It just feels a bit more, polite. So great. Reel and highlights. This is looking good so far. You have these great shots, these great studio shots with you with the hat. Maybe you can just Photoshop a color in behind there. I love that turquoise for you.
Okay.
Makes your hair, the color of your hair really pop nicely. I think this looks good. I mean, I think this looks good. There's a lot of info here. So if anything, you might want to just kind of simplify, maybe just simplify. But at the same time, you want to make sure you hit them with the most important stuff: production, hosting and journalism, creative direction and branding. I would say the main thing is with your colors and your style decisions. Now you've got all the info there. I would now start to just really elevate the color, the typography, and the photos. I want all of those elements to work perfectly together.
Got it.
Does that make sense? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a different feedback because I think you've got all the right information here.
Okay.
But I would just, as you start to build your visual brand, less of like the kind of like random colors like blue, yellow, black, turquoise, red, burgundy. Those are all color, purple. These are all colors that I've kind of been hit with. And I think it's just too much. I'd rather you like luxury brand, hit us with like 3 colors maximum and have those colors work with your photography. I love this shot of you that's in the thumbnail. I don't necessarily like this reddy orange color. I think that turquoise, burgundy, white, black might be the colors you rock with.
Okay.
There's just too many colors. Again, champagne problems, like that gives you something fun to kind of chip away at, right? I would also consider getting rid of this loopy L. It looks a bit too stock photo-y logo-ish for me. I love your name written that, and I want your name big, way bigger, because people with bad eyesight are not going to be able to see this. So you can keep the logo if you want and if you like it, but to me, your name is way more important. So you could actually move the logo to the right hand or the left hand side. That's what I do. For web, usually it's better to have your name bigger. I put my logo, which by the way, if you see me on camera right now, I have tattooed on my wrist. I'm a little bit overboard when it comes to branding. Yeah, so just make your name bigger.
Okay.
But these are all stylistic decisions. I think you've got all the right content here. You could maybe shorten this a little bit, make the font bigger, hit me with the most interesting thing so that you make sure people read it. I have the shortest attention span in the world, which makes me really good at my job. I just don't read. So I always pay attention to like, what am I not paying attention to, you know?
That makes sense. I also too,
Good
because
stuff.
I have my production website, which I had sent to Shay originally. And then she kind of helped me reel it in and focus more on my
Right.
hosting. So
Yeah.
you mentioned blog. And so my production website has like my actual web series that I produce that I host in. So I didn't know how I could incorporate that without it being too busy, because the
I
branding
know.
is very
Keep your
different.
life as simple as possible. If you are the brand, I know you like it's a production, like I'm a branding agency, but people work with Phil Pallen because I'm Phil Pallen. Part of me
Right.
thinks like try to avoid having like a bazillion different websites and
Yeah.
focus more on your personal brand. We know you're a host. We know you also head up production or handle production. I'm totally okay with you doing both of those things. Make your life easy by having like, I think everything under one roof. Certainly you can focus in a different way. If the production piece is big enough, then certainly keep it on a separate website, but
Yeah.
just keep your life easy. That's my advice. Keep
Okay.
your life as easy as possible. And don't expect people to go to like all different multiple locations because they won't, they're lazy.
Right. And looking at it from that casting director agent perspective, they don't necessarily want to see all that other stuff on the first hit.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Sometimes what I would do is you could have sharik.com/production, and even if it's downplayed and you want the hosting stuff to be the focus, you can always be sending them to this specific website, sharik.com/hosting. You know, you've got options there in terms of where you redirect people.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I am really impressed that everyone is still on the call. We have all 22 people with us. I can't see the faces of anyone because I have the chat open. Oh, there they are.
Can you see them too?
Yeah, I love that everyone's just sitting here and just so obediently learning. And I'm just going off the top of my head. I told you I didn't look at these websites before. I'm just going off of what I
knew
see.
you didn't, by the way. Just you thought you tricked me, but I could tell.
Yeah, you're right. You know me
Like,
well
you
enough
got
to know.
back
I'm
to me
like,
too
yeah,
fast,
sound
too.
good. Yeah, I know. Okay, is it pronounced Mina or Minna?
Mina.
Mina,
M-I-N-A.
great.
Yeah.
You know that I've known a lot of people with this name, but then I met someone who was the wife of someone I knew, and her name was Mina, but she pronounced it Minna. So now I never ever know. That person ruined it for me. Mina. Okay, great. What are we looking at here? So we've got a little animation moment. Love a little animation moment. These are great photos of you. I would say these photos, I would kind of love for them to be bigger, like all up here. However, what's difficult is you can't see the font against that color because there's so much going on in the photo. However, maybe, I would love, I don't know, I kind of want this photo to be bigger.
Should I just put that photo, the one where I'm like, my mouth is open and I'm smiling, should I put that as the cover photo of the reel? And that way I can like solve the problem of it being smaller and then just keep this photo above that?
Yes, I think that's a really good idea.
That's a good idea. That's a good solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, because I'm thinking, again, all hosts, how do we make the most of our above the fold real estate, which is everything I see on screen right now? I remember someone wise told me, like, Phil, if you're trying to convert to your email list, make sure above the fold people can sign up for your list. So as much as I didn't want to put an email sign up there, it's literally the most important thing in my business is that I acquire someone who's interested in what I do, even before I know anything about them, even before I show them my work, you know? So I think here, actually, I almost wonder if we should take your name. Maybe I love this typography even better than this one. I love this one. I actually wonder if maybe we make this, and we just have your name once be up there. And then you could say, I'm a producer and reporter who, brand sentence. Tell me that like interesting little thing about you that makes you a little bit different than everyone else. You see how I'm telling all of you that? You're a producer and a reporter. That's not your brand. That's your job description. That's your function. I need your perspective. Like, you know, the world is better with laughter. That's lame, but like, you know, like, I don't know, when you're talking to your friends and you're like, you know, you're describing why you do what you do, usually I can take that sentence word for word and put it on the homepage of your website. If you guys, and this is like, it sounds like I'm self-promoting, but actually, if you look at all my work, if you go to my website and click examples, these are all personal brands. These are all people that have paid me $15,000 or more to build their brands from start to finish. Photography, website, brand identity, positioning, brand sentence on their homepage of their websites. It has their one sentence punch. I do it on every homepage of every website. Like, I'm trying to think. Let's click Dinesh, for example, like dineshk.co. If I go to his website really quickly, when you understand what's important, there's no limit to what you can do. Boom, bang, sentence, right? Perspective, like, tell me your sentence. Tell me why what you do matters. Why should I pay attention to you? So on every personal branding example on my site, if you go to their website, there's a sentence like that that'll give you some ideas, okay? So I want that sentence, Mina. I want that like boom sentence right
which
there.
font did you tell me to keep, the italic font?
I like them all, but I think this one's really cute. This one, yeah, I like this section. So I kind of want to make your name this a little bit smaller up here. Keep your brand sentence in this nice serif. You could make it a little bit smaller, but maybe what we do actually is we move the hosting reel up here and we make this picture or this picture, I like both of them, whatever one you like better, the thumbnail of that. And actually maybe we label it as hosting reel smaller right under it. So actually, that's like two birds with one stone. Get the reel up there, right? I told you the most important thing for me is that someone signs up for my email list. Honestly, for you, I think the most important thing that someone does is watch your reel. So why not force that to be above the fold? What do you think?
Yeah, so basically Mina Nadine Wahab goes up there, like in the header. Producer and reporter is the one-liner that comes first. Then you have the reel with the cover photo, choosing only one of those images, not both. Okay.
You could do both if you want. You could do both if you want, but I think
I have two reels, so maybe I can put two reels back to back because I have my social justice reel where it's very news reportery, and then I have a film critic reel. But the film critic reel is at the very bottom of the website because I wanted to highlight this one first and not like inundate people with too much video.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's smart because people are only going to watch one clip. So you have to be really selective about, you have to assume that, you know, you have to assume that they're only going to watch one.
Yeah. And if you scroll over the videos, like under brand collaborations, it starts playing, but muted so that you can kind of have like a sneak peek about what it's about.
I love that. I love that.
And then Phil, something that has not really come up much though, I'm not seeing resumes easily accessible on the front pages of most of these, like a link to it. But if I'm an agent or casting director, I think that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for.
Definitely. There's a big wide white space here. See if you can remove that.
I've been trying. I don't know what's going on. I just finished this today, so I'm still trying to figure out how to get rid of that.
Yeah, no worries. If you can't figure it out, I think Wix, I know Squarespace does, like email their support and make it their problem. I do that all the time. Even if I'm working on a site, I'm like, I could troubleshoot this for 10 minutes and figure out, but I send it over to Squarespace. I'm like, help, how do I do this? Like, then I can, you know, pay for us. Let it be their problem. I agree, Shay. There's a lot of media on this homepage, and I think I would break it up with some words. So maybe to give context for some of these, like, because I almost have like media fatigue by the time I get down here.
Yeah.
And you want us to watch some of these. I think that you could pull back on the homepage, and you could maybe Mina, you do create a second page on your site that's for more of those specific media applications.
So the only videos I have on there, I think it's a little misleading. The only videos I have on there are the ones that say hosting reel and the ones that say brand collaborations. The rest are all pictures, except for 2 of the TV appearance ones. So maybe just get rid of the pictures then, and then keep the videos on the page. I just thought the photos kind of like make it look more colorful and vibrant, but I can get rid of the photos and only include headshots instead of just putting like surrounding the Mina Makes Magic. That's my Instagram handle and my Twitter and all my social handles. I can even put an @ like before that and include my social media somewhere else, and then just should I just get rid of these photos, like the yellow?
Yeah, because a lot of them are very redundant to me. If I'm looking at this as a casting director, I'm like, okay, I got it. Red's your color. So yeah, you want to think of it like a casting director. You don't want to give them this much that's not really giving them new information.
Should I put headshots on the front page or on the second page if I want to do like a headshot thing?
I would just do 2 if I'm going to do headshots of some sort. Yeah. And again, a part of that is because when they're submitting you, moving you on, like let's say you get in the door as a casting, they're going to ask just for the very basics to send you on. And so you want to make it as simple as possible for people. Even though the casting director knows what they're looking for, the next step, the people don't. Oftentimes it's the client or the production or whatever, and they don't really know what they're looking at. So that's why you don't want to give them too much.
Should I get rid of the whole pictures tab, the pics where it didn't happen? Because that's just like a random photo gallery.
Yeah, get rid of it. Here's what we're going to do with you. And by we, I mean you, but I'm going to tell you what to do. I actually love the kind of editorial feel of where you're going with this site, which I know you just finished today because you're like, Phil's going to rip it apart. I better get something done. But what you're doing here is really cool. Headline, photo, and then even like description. I actually love this chunk of text. It could be maybe a little bit smaller, maybe half this length, but I love it. Almost feels like a New York Times page, like title, photo, description. I think that you could guide us through the homepage and play with that theme of title, media, description, title, almost like a new news story, title, media, description. And if there's more detail on that, then have a button and link us to get more detail on that. To Shay's point, if you've got a hosting resume, let's get that on here somewhere and have a link to download it or a link to view it, etc. I think by the time I get down here, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think I would start to simplify down here and like, oh, cool, TMZ, put like a little description.
It's only there when you click on it, that's where the description goes in a new tab. It's like a very short, like a 1-line description of what my function was on that show. But it's only when you click on it.
Yeah. I think that we should have it for when you don't click on it, because I don't really need to click on it. The photo, when I click on it, it gets like a little bit bigger, but I already see it here. I would save your clicks. I don't want someone to come on here and like click 3 times and leave. That's usually what people do, is like they click a few interesting things, but I would just put more work into telling your story, kind of really guide what's important and what you want us to consume.
Okay. And that would just be the hosting reels then. That's literally the most important. The 2 hosting
The most
reels.
important thing. And you could make these thumbnails a little bit smaller. If they're a lot smaller, then it's going to take up less space, and then we could click it to see it bigger. But right now, I think it's media overload, and I'd like a bit more written context. Oh, yeah, I'd like a little bit more written context for what each section is and what you do.
Okay, do you want me to put a description also for each of the reels, like kind of a summary of who I've interviewed and what topics I've discussed, even though you're going to see it in the reel?
I'm not necessarily going to watch the reel, so I think context like that is important, because don't assume that people are going to watch your reel. I think assume the worst, that no one's going to click on anything. What can you leave them with without them having to click on anything?
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I would keep the font consistent with your navigation. Now I'm being picky. I like this serif, like this vibe. I would also put that up here and keep it nice and small. But looks great. It's off to a really good start.
Thank you.
I think that's it, Shay. I think that's our list.
That was a ton of stuff. You do work through fast. Do you mind if we open it up for just a few minutes for a couple questions?
Oh, I would love that.
Okay, and I know there's some that are in the chat, but let's go ahead and just open it up. And you know, you guys, if you've been on one of my webinars before, you know I don't like force you to mute and unmute by me. So just go ahead and if somebody's talking, just wait your turn. But go ahead and somebody go ahead and start.
I'll go first. Hi, Phil. This is Sonali.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say thank you again. I appreciate this so much, Shay, really, for organizing this whole thing. A quick question about blogs. I don't have one yet, and I noticed some other of my fellow talent did. And one of the reasons I don't have one yet is because I feel that I'm a nobody right now in where I am in my career. Like, for instance, I only have 2,000 Instagram followers, and like I made a post today, I only got 6 likes. So my point is, should I even start a blog if I'm not going to have an audience? Is there any point?
Yes. Okay, let's talk through this. I want to go full screen with my picture so you get the full Phil Pallen experience. How do I turn off my screen sharing?
Stop
sharing.
my webcam.
There we go. I'll open my screen again if I want to show you something. So tip number 1, take that sentence back and never say it again in terms of you being a nobody, getting 6 likes, 2,000 followers. Who cares? Think of your website as this, your favorite retail store. If they don't update their window display for 3 years or they don't update their inventory, then you're not going to want to go back to that store. So blogging, what excites me about blogging is it keeps people coming back to your website. I don't care how many likes or how many followers you get. You can make a point of trying to grow that. There are all kinds of resources online. I just finished a course today. I care more about your perspective and you creating content in a consistent way that lets me into your world. Don't stop because you're not sure what to talk about, or you think even worse that no one cares what you have to say. We do care what you have to say. We want to learn about your perspective, your opinion, the experience of living your life, the experience of building your brand. Your blog keeps people coming back for more, right? And there's all kinds of ways to look at it. Some people blog as if it's like a journal. Some people blog for keywords. So for example, I use the phrase personal branding in a lot of my content because I want me to come up in Google when people type personal branding. I want them to find me. That's why I blog, and it drives traffic through to my website. I think you need to just adjust your outlook. And first of all, don't lead with I'm a nobody. Of course you're a somebody. I want you to figure out your brand, and I want you to keep us coming back to your website, your blog. Your blog is a way to keep people coming back for more, to learn. Also, when you post on Instagram and you write a caption on Instagram, that's a mini version of blogging, right? If you watch what I do very closely, I'm a marketer, right? So everything I do is calculated. Like saying to you, download my notes. I have notes on this topic, like hand over your email address, you know, that's all calculated, because I want you on my email list, because I want you on my email list, right? Like, watch how I write an Instagram caption. When I write an Instagram caption, I don't say like, I only have 2,000 followers, I'm a nobody. When I write an Instagram caption, I'm reflecting on something in a way that's going to be useful for you, okay? Whether you're blogging or you're writing a caption on Instagram, they're really the same thing. I want you focused on a few things. Value, okay? So the topic could be 3 things that I've learned since moving to LA. This is tough. There's a lot of avocado toast. I don't know, whatever, right? Like reflect on 3 or 4 things, okay? Engagement is hugely important. So start your Instagram caption with a question. What has been on your mind lately? Let me share a few things that I've been thinking about. Consistency, right? Is, I think, the hardest thing to do is be posting as often as possible on Instagram. I'm going to show you an example of value. So I was quoted in the Times. If you go to my Instagram, I was quoted in the Times, a newspaper in the UK. They called me to get my opinion on Meghan and Harry. it was Prince Harry, but now dramatically the title's been removed. They wanted my opinion on what was the future of their personal brands. So I gave them a quote, but I didn't just post on Instagram, or I didn't just blog saying, look at me, I'm in the newspaper. No one cares. Even if they pretend to care, no one cares. So what I said in the caption was, here's what smaller brands can learn from this. Know your audience. Identify them, not just by gender and age range, but by qualitative measures like behavior and taste. Know your strengths. Take the time to do it right. These are things I reflected on as the journalist was talking to me about this, but I gave them in a valuable way for the viewer. When you start to give value and when you start to have specificity and saying, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is what value I offer you, and I value it, or I offer it consistently, and I engage with my audience. Every time people engage with your Instagram post, more people see your post. Instagram automatically analyzes a few metrics. Every single time you post on Instagram, Instagram is looking at you going, is this a good post? Is this not a good post? If people are saving your post, okay, this was saved 170 times and it reached 7,000 people. That's insane for me. That's so much. The reason why is because people found it valuable. 3 stages of branding. It's literally my sales process: position, build, promote. That's what I tell my clients, how we're going to work together. But I made it into content that was valuable. So my long-winded, ranty answer is that I want you less feeling this vibe of imposter syndrome or that you don't matter. And I need you laser focused on understanding your brand and knowing your perspective is your opinion, and really taking a stance on things so that we get a sense of who you are and what you're all about. Does that help?
It does, yes. I'm so
Get out of
grateful.
that mindset.
Right.
Sorry,
Why
I'm
don't we take
shouting
another
at you,
question
but
or
I do it
two?
sometimes.
That's okay. No.
I have a question. Hi, my name's Alice.
Hi.
I'm a host, but also a travel influencer. And so
Great.
my website is all about like my travel videos and my travel blog. I do have my hosting reel on there under videos and under the About Me section. I actually just added it to the homepage while we were chatting. But
Great.
my question is it okay for me to point hosting clients to my website, even though it's not specifically about hosting, even though like I've created over 100 YouTube videos about travel, so that's like my main thing, where I am the host and the face. So it is hosting, but it's not specifically like everyone else's hosting website is.
So I would be really focused on who your audience is, which I know is not a satisfying answer, but I want to be laser focused on who you're targeting and making sure you give them what they need. Chances are someone who's interested in consuming you as a host is also interested in what you bring to the table. They're interested in what we would call proof of concept. So yes, I want to watch your host reel, but I actually, I think host reels, it's one of those things you have to have. But actually, I think there are more important things than a host reel. I think your YouTube video from last week is more important than a host reel. Why do I want to sit and watch a host reel that you've edited the very best moments of you on television from the last 5 years? I don't really want to see the best moments. I also want to see you every day interacting with confidence and personality on camera, which is why Instagram Live is important. It's why creating, if you can, on YouTube is important. If you have subscribers on YouTube, that's proof of concept that you know how to entertain and engage and grow an audience. All of that is so important in 2020 because buyers are looking for a 2-for-1 deal. I'm going to hire a host, but it's perfect because she's also a travel influencer, which means she'll talk about the show to her 100,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. They love that shit. Right? They absolutely love 2-for-1 deals, 3-for-1 deals. So I wouldn't be hiding any of that stuff. I might be thinking about yourname.com, alice.com/hosting. And maybe that's where, like a lot of what Shay's saying, your hosting resume, your headshot, any of that host specific stuff can be on a specific destination on your website.
Okay.
But I would want every example of proof of concept. I would make sure they know. When I got on this call and you didn't even know who I was, I made sure you knew I worked with celebrities, so you would take me seriously. That's how we as humans communicate and really kind of more or less validate, right? Like that's how it works. So when you've got those other examples, instances of proof of concept, I want to make sure the buyers know about all of those. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Cool.
Thank you.
Another question. This will be the
This is
last
fun.
one, you guys. Yeah,
I
I
have a
know we could do
question.
this all night is the problem.
I miss working with hosts. It's really kind of fun and like a little tad nostalgic.
Well, we
for
can have
me.
you back if you want. If this goes
Yeah.
on, we can take the
I have a
branding
quick
question perhaps, because I
question.
think that's one of the biggest questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I know we talked a lot about color and simplicity. So my website has pretty much been black and white with just, I don't know, maybe just lines of color here and there, but mostly black and white. But I do want to add color onto my website. How much is too much color, or should I just stick to one color and black and white, or just do two colors that pretty much stand out?
That's a really good question, and there's no right or wrong answer. I'm actually going to share my screen again. There's no right or wrong answer, but I would say less is more. So in the instance, for example, my brand is actually my clients' brands. So I go more quiet with my branding. I don't have 1,400 colors. For me, it's the gray, the beige, and the green are my brand colors. So I always feel like the more confident, like the fewer colors, the more decisive and consistent in how you portray yourself, the more confidence it exudes without even really doing anything intentionally to kind of put that across. If you can stand kind of in your web presence and go like, this is my color, this is my typography, here's my photography, and here's my perspective, I want you to have that kind of confidence. So if you've got kind of a lot of like black and white tones, then yeah, throw in an accent color so that it helps us remember you. Color helps increase memorability, but then at the same time, we don't want to go overboard with the whole rainbow unless like it's LGBT, then it's fine if it's a rainbow. But otherwise, like color helps us, like color is funny because humans really remember it and it has a lot of significance. So it's totally up to you whether you go loud with your color. I would choose one or two and I would just rock with it. So you see, I have a lot of like beiges and greens. So intentionally, because then my brand can live with all the other colors that I design for my clients. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much. Thank you so much.
Shay.
Yeah. Phil, this has been amazing. I know you're always such a genius and a wealth of information. You just always make my head spin. I feel like I have to watch this a couple of times. No, in a good way.
I do that. I make people's heads spin in a good way. Can I tell people, Shay, about the course that I launched 50 minutes ago before we got on this call?
Absolutely, Phil.
Okay, so I just finished my first teachable course and I have spent weeks on this and it's literally finally live. I clicked live on it 5 minutes before the call started. I've touched on some of the things that I go into detail on in this course, but I did a presentation earlier and I gave them a deal for being the first ones to sign up. So, and my stuff is like not cheap. So to work one-on-one, etc., because my work is very thorough. Like it takes me 4 months to brand someone, but this is my first foray into like educational materials, and I feel very proud of this course. So I lowered the price today from $299 to $99 for this webinar I was on earlier today. I didn't even I plan on taking this live tomorrow, so I wasn't even gonna have this ready. But if any of you are interested in taking this course, it's called Content Mastery, and I teach you how to ace your content creation on social media. I talk about Instagram. I talk about all those platforms. This I just added to my website, so philpallen.co/course. The price is lowered, I think, probably for the next 48 hours. I would love, if any of you are interested and you need something to do, I would love to have you in this course. It's literally launched and new as of today. So I just wanted to mention that, Shay, because it's like, this is what I've been doing all day today.
Congratulations, Phil. That's great.
Thank you.
And I know you mentioned it somewhere in there, but Phil's blog is a wealth of information as well, if you can't quite, have the $99 just yet. Ton of information there too.
For sure. I create content at all different levels. So obviously I work one-on-one with clients. My clients are successful. They've achieved a certain level of success in their rebranding and incorporating their business goals. We also have a podcast. I launch new podcasts every week.
I'm going to have to mute.
And then on here, if you go to ebooks and worksheets, these are all free. All of these are free.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up now, you guys, because it's getting so late. I know, especially if anyone has joined from the East Coast. Phil, like I said, we can't thank you enough just for being willing to share your time, being willing to share your expertise with us, and all of the reviews of, each of the individual sites. So I hope each of you really, feel like you got a good value from somebody who normally charges, like you said, $15,000. So, so we really appreciate.
It's been so fun. It's been so
I know.
fun.
I'm just working with you. Thank you, guys.
This was incredible.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shay, and thank you, Phil, so much.
Thank you.
I just took a screenshot. Yay, we're cute.
Thanks, Phil.
You guys, thanks so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
And Phil, I'll send you the recording as soon as, I guess I should end that.